and there's 5 people that just left that lane to go down, and still people are in the middle of the lane. That shouldn't be happening.
Well, Raven had 10% win rate, but make that 8.3 after that game.
8.3 repeating?
I don't think so, but
I wanted to give them something.
I just wrote that down, but their average KDA is 0.5. 0.5.
Yeah.
And that's very surprising. And after that, I think it went down a little bit more, but it's going to be a very stompy series, as we mentioned. And after watching Game 1, their drafting is just out of this world right now. It seems like they're not in the meta for sure. And Karasim's second pick, starting from that point,
That's when you got to be skeptical, right?
I was lost.
Because if you want to run the double support like this, there's no reason to pick up the Karasim that early. If they want to run something else, I don't know, man. That was dirty. I'm not a big fan of that draft.
But after that game number 1, I think it's, as Saka said, I think they can still bring up some experimental things before the Eastern Clash. I'm pretty sure maybe they do not actually want to use it before to hide that secret card, just to use it in the later games in the coming weeks.
I think Sake is just trolling you, man. Maybe Black doesn't mess around.
He messes around a lot, so if you know Sake, he's the man. And Cursed Hollow, they want to macro this one out, and actually, both MVP teams love this battleground because once they get the snowball, they will just take every single camp, every single boss that's available on the map and finish you. Maybe we'll get less than 10-minute game on game number 2 also, but I want to see some changes. Raven showed us hopes, and the Crucible games, when we started the phase number 2, they had pretty good games, I gotta say, but they look a little bit worse compared to the beginning of the phase.
I would say a little bit is an understatement, but let's see what they do here in game number 2. The problem, of course, that they're facing already is that they have to play on Cursed Hollow. They decided to ban... Wait. Yeah. Wait, no. Black has first ban. They picked it. Raven picked this map, which makes less than no sense against MVP Black. I really appreciated the
Asmo.
I appreciate the Dragon Sire ban, but this map pick
Asmo Dunk is coming, guys.
Please no.
I can feel it.
Please no. Okay, well, Abathur gets banned instantly. This is a wise ban by MVP Black. Is probably shocked by the map pick, saying, well, thank you for giving us our best battleground.
Yep. It's very surprising. And Abathur, actually, Raven has 0-4 on Abathur.
Also, Raven picked BOE into MVP Black. These are 2 poor decisions in terms of map drafting. I mean, you've been following Heroes of the Storm since MVP Black was created as a team in 2015. You're probably wondering why in the world these map choices came out, but I suppose you could make the argument, if you wanted to, that MVP Black has played so many games on the maps that you think you have the answer, but we haven't seen it yet.
I don't think MVP Black needs a double support. Sake can just go with the false stat. Okay, this I can follow. Liming with the ranged pokes, Uther. Very strong, especially Chom's best support so far.
Yeah. If you look at what Liming can accomplish in terms of the poke, and if they do want to run that Asmodan later, God forbid, then that'll be 2 great tools that they could use to at least deny tributes to maybe split soak if they get a global hero, which we have seen them try to do before.
And this is a good sign because Chom, the only 2 games that they won was whenever Chom was on Uther. So I see hopes here already.
Let's see what the ban's going to be here. Greymane removed with the Tyrael already here. This is a wise ban, just like we saw last game.
Tyrael with the Genji diving in. Diablo band, okay, targeting Diong. Diong's Diablo, especially on Spider Queen, was super, super strong. When paired up pretty well with the team, sometimes he was charging in by himself, but except for those timings, he was very decent on Diablo.
Yeah,
so
he's got a good Diablo for sure. And I think this is just MVP Black playing safe. Tist is providing some commentary on Diong's charge-ins on the Diablo there. With his hands, you could see it. So now the play here for Raven. What's it going to be? They need a hero that Uther empowers. We could just see the Illidan again. It wouldn't be crazy. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Hamlin played it last game, and they have the Uther for empowering. Stitches works much better with the Uther than he did with the Karazim as well.
That's right. Target stun will be very helpful when you get the hooks in.
Let's see if they want to grab it. The
D.Va!
It's going to be D.Va. Okay. Bring in some EU flavor, I suppose.
Yeah, they oftentimes double warrior, double assassin with a single support is the most played team comp for Raven, so they want to bring the balance. They have some mobility there.
They just want to hook D.Va's self-destructs in. Trying to make some combos. I don't even know if you could do that with friend or foe, or not friend or foe, but the friendly hook. I don't know if you could actually hook the D.Va ult in, but I was actually talking with another caster out here, Papa Smithy, about that last night. We'll see if this actually happens. Oh, it would be sick if it did.
Zagara!
Okay, maybe that's the surprise you were talking about. And now the final pick will be the Falstad. So this is going to be the triple DPS solo tank. Triple ranged, in fact. So you'd have to imagine Genji will be played by Rich with this.
And Sake on Falstad. So makes sense. And just reset on... most likely reset on Zagara this time. Just going around the map with kind of having the global. Maybe they don't even need the global. We'll see.
Well, I think Raven could still run the Illidan. It's not out of the question. The D.Va can add some extra protection.
Illidan's already banned.
Yeah,
so.
sorry, my bad.
They can bring the old DPS like Vala or even Lunara to actually go against them. It's kind of hard with all the dives with the range damage. You may actually be 1/4 of HP when you actually try to do your damage when you walk into that. I don't
understand what this comp is supposed to do or protect without a melee assassin. That's why I was looking back towards
maybe
the
even double mage. Sylvanas coming in.
I don't like this comp at all.
I think it's just to kind of have the solo lane against the Zagara. I think that's their line of thinking right now, but the entire teamwork, the theme is not there. It seems they are missing the theme big.
All right, well, we'll talk about how this draft could work as we get into the game, guys. I don't feel like it has much synergy here, but we're going to find out what Raven has planned, as they definitely prepared something for Cursed Hollow. This is their map pick as we head into game number 2. Can they tie this up? Or are we going to go into another one-sided game for MVP Black? Let's find out right now. MVP Black reset on Genji, Sake on Falstad, Kyocha on Malfurion, Rich on Zagara, and Tist on the Tyrael. Excited Sake there.
And Raven, Darvish on Naming, Hamlin on Stitches, and MX on D.Va, DeYoung on Sylvanas, and Chom on Uther.
Kind of a role swap with DeYoung again, picking the odd hero, so no surprises, no shock here. So the D.Va pick, what I was thinking what the D.Va pick would be used for is for just damage reduction on a melee assassin like an Illidan, or, you know, maybe like a Thrall. They had both Greymane and Illidan removed. Genji is taken away from them, so there's a big question as to what hero it was going to be. D.Va can be used for a lot of different things, like zoning out bosses, can do a lot of poke, excellent at delaying tributes. And the damage reduction is quite significant, right? She'll just kind of cut down the damage wherever she ends up defense matrixing, but the Sylvanas pick is already kind of being countered here. Like, 2-man, they're doing more than the 3-man down bottom with the Sylvanas is able to do.
Yeah, they have soak and somewhat of a pretty... Black has a pretty good soak and somewhat of a pretty good wave clear along with the mobility and the global. So you can't really try to out-rotate by just pushing the lane with Sylvanas. It's not going to work against Black.
NMX is already coming up here to start defending this, but Black already got the better of the exchange. They predicted this because this is an old strategy where obviously at level 1 you take Sylvanas and you push the towers at level 1.
Nice.
Black just countered it.
Drive on Sake. Okay, they're going full macro here. And Zagar taking Banelings.
NMX looks like he might lose his mech. Looks like he just barely survives there with it. No, it been really annoying in this 1v2 lane to actually have to farm that back up and pilot the mode. So important that he actually kept that alive. But yeah, the bribe is going to allow him to obviously have faster camp rotation. They don't have a massive clear hero. You know, they don't have the gray main that Black would normally want to draft here. That's why it was banned. They don't have Rhaegar, so to get those timings a little bit crisper, I guess the bribe stacks are going to kind of come into fruition with that. Kind of an aggressive position here for reset. I don't know if you should be being that aggro. You see the rotation coming down, though.
They want to punish, and Tyrael dives in with Genji. Seems like they're looking for kills. Liming was already dead, and that's gone Genji, too.
So they make a 1-for-1 trade in the 3v4 fight, while up here they are 2v1ing against NMX. And they're just already pushing down, split pushing to the keep wall. And there even wasn't able to find a better trade there. They're losing out on EXP too because Falstad got the extra soak in mid before they even had that 3v4 fight in the bot lane. That's why they're so massively ahead in EXP, a full level. So just so much more value from the global hero of Falstad. The Zagara still pushing hard. Raven doesn't have a hero that can counter that. They don't have a ganking hero. There's no Zeratul. There's no Tracer. There's nothing that can come up there and say, hey, I wish you weren't split pushing like this, especially when they have the bodyguard from Kyocha who built into Shando, so even more mana sustain for Zagara. She never has to go home. Cooldown reduction as well. It's just insane what Black is able to do with this comp.
It's also auto attack, so can push the lane pretty hard. There's the self explode. We'll actually get the camp.
He wanted it so bad, but he gave it up, and he still took the damage. Well, D.Va getting some value here, I suppose, folks.
It's one less, but once Falstad gets the bribe stacks, the macro will be real. But Black wanted to pressure a little bit hard. Actually, very good use for Raven from defending that.
Yeah, I mean, that was well done. That's one of the powers of D.Va, is to be able to just simply deny camp takes. It's going to be more important for the boss later, but even for small camps like this, it's a nice one. Reset gets the deflection kill here over the wall. See you later, Sylvanas. And this game is starting to snowball a little bit, but can they get the punish rotation here? This is actually well coordinated.
See, seems like Kyocha's in trouble, but here comes Tyrael for the shield. I think he will be safe. At the end of the day, NMX is now in trouble, but barely does not. Loses the mech. A lot of EXP coming in. Coke does not connect fully because of the tower there.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the first time we've seen in this series Raven make a really good macro decision, really good play there. This is what we saw a lot last game, though, is just coming down alone like this. When you have hyper-mobile heroes, you have the Genji, you have the Tyrael, and you're just a lonely Liming coming in. This Falstad nearby, too, which you had vision of in the mid lane. You shouldn't be making mistakes like this if you're Hamlin. But alas, we're going to watch the D.Va mech finally rebuilt here. They can use this to buy a lot of time. Sake is actually being zoned away right now, and NMX doing a really good job with the D.Va to buy time on this tribute.
Well, they come in. Liming's going to take a long time. NMX is not going to use the explosion yet. His dishes will be caught off right before, so this will be a loss for Raven right now, and Deflect coming in at the perfect timing for reset.
Okay, Darvish is back now, and he's looking to get some damage done. Does do a chunk there to Rich, but Sake will claim this tribute. And the reason why they had to rotate down was because actually during all that commotion, Tist actually pushed the bot lane as Tyrael all the way up to the fort, so they had more lane pressure, they had more vision. This allowed Sake to come from the mid lane, where he's getting more and more soaked, by the way, to come over to help them get 10. Look at the top push as well. No one's dealt with that, so with this cannon tower going down, they will get 10. So they're 3 levels ahead yet again.
Ooh, they were looking for kills, and Sanctification even dropped. It seems like it's going to be 1-1 trade, and just no Aldrin's away. Maybe Sake has to use the Gust to save
Hinterland.
it.
He got Hinterland, though, so...
Hinterland, actually.
He's not going to be able to Gust his way out of this one. And he's going to just use his flight. There's no CC interruption. The boosters are on cooldown. And Sake will just clear this wave on his way out, by the way. He doesn't just randomly fly away. He's a good flight path. So Hinterland Blast, yeah, we've seen it all. And
okay.
Nidus Network, so no Hinterland Blast combos with them all.
I was thinking of Judgment. I think they were thinking of Judgment or X-Strike with the Hinterland Blast to have the pair up with the CC, to have at least all the focus fire onto one target.
Think about it with Maw. You have the Maw, the X-Strike. Even Dragon Blade is good too in this situation. Twilight Dream. And then suddenly you just thrash a team fight.
I think the moment that they were diving into, just decided to have the Sanctification. He wanted to just save reset, but he ended up dying anyhow, so didn't really do too much. Let's see how it all works out at the end. They already have the Snowball 2-level full lead, and the mid fort is barely standing, and they will take them down for sure.
All right, double 10's on the horizon here for Raven. It's going to be a huge moment for them, obviously, when they get the silence coming out from Sylvanas. So he's actually holding on to it. Will be Wailing Arrow, though. Not going to go for mind control. Now, this is a really nice zoning tool. Again, the D.Va coming out,
There's
knocking
a
them away.
Storm coming out from Chum. Sanctification is a second late because of the Storm. You said it already fell there, so Black has to retreat.
And we did see the pilot upgrade, no bunny hop, so D.Va is going to be able to remake a lot more quickly, which will allow her to be a lot more aggressive. And this goes back to the theme of D.Va being part of the tribute denial crew. So the gun coming out from Pilot D.Va can actually poke and deny it. And NMX, when he's in pilot form, does so much damage anyways. He's actually just using it for extra wave clear right now. Even though he has the mech available, he's not interested in using it till the last second. Just wants to do some more poke.
Look at Rich. He does not want to go back. He wants to harass as the maximum amount as he can. Young actually starting camp pretty early. This is for them to catch up with the snowball that Black has been doing, and there's the value of Falstad taking bribe at level 1. Start the camp early, as you don't have to take much time when you have the stacks.
So there's a boss take now for Black, and let's see what Raven does. They must realize now that this is going to happen, and they should go and take their own boss. They check it first. They need to react quickly. If they don't start their boss right now, Black could potentially go for a double boss here. They have Sake. He doesn't have Gust, however, so maybe a little bit overzealous for me to say that, but Raven just doesn't even take the boss at all. And Black's just going to push for it. Remember, the keep wall is already damaged from before. And they have this double global with the Zagara here, the Falstad. So Falstad can soak mid and then fly down.
It's like they want to get this keep as early as possible. Hooks onto Ridge and Gorge is used. There's not much of a escape. Sanctification does not connect. The silence is real. There's the wombo combo from Raven. They are turning this around.
We see the big Hinterland Blast here. They're all lined up. There it goes. Not going to be the full cooldown reduction there, but does knock it down to 40 seconds. This is a bit overzealous, I'd say, by MVP Black to continue to fight here. They want the keep really badly, but it's just not reasonable at this stage. Reset, though. Gets a reset. Speaking of his name, unfortunately not enough to carry the fight or to survive. The Raven will save the keep at the end of the day. Black's showboating a little bit here. And if they're not careful, Raven could catch up. We saw really good coordinated usage of the Divine Storm and the Wailing Arrow there after the Gorge was used to get that initial pick and the second one there. So well done by Raven.
They actually have so much pair up. Even with Wave of Force, there's an extra escape tool and more damage, burst damage coming out from Li-Ming too. That worked great. And they chose the perfect target reset. Even Tisk could not put... If he maybe dropped the Sanctification of 0.2 seconds earlier, he could have, but the insta-CC lock coming out from Chom was pretty good there.
Well, now Raven's going to finally take this boss after the pressure was relieved. And Black, with the slow respawns coming in, not confident to deny. They know this is coming, and they also know that they have the top 4. It's fully healthy, so this is not going to be a devastating boss by any means. If they were able to deny it, sure, they would have definitely gone for it, but looks like they just want to use the guard to continue to split push that bot lane so that eventually it's going to knock that keep down. That's going to be the most significant of all. They're just going to leave Sake up there in the top lane to deal with the boss solo as they continue to push the mid lane. So there's no objectives on the map right now, so they're just simply trying to push the bot as much as they can while putting some pressure on mid. And Sake can always rejoin at any moment in time. Big power spike, of course, for Raven at 13 is actually the Windrunner for Sylvanas, so now Dion can actually be a lot more mobile and do a lot more damage in fights, safer while doing so. Something we always have to talk about when Sylvanas is in play.
Still trying to pressure a little more onto the bot lane. They really want to get the early game forts, early game keeps, because that will actually help them so much to do the macro things they want to. So they want to start it, but Raven knowing that they're defending pretty well, but they're losing the entire other side of the map though.
Alright, well, this is a tough spawn for Black. The rest of their members are not nearby, but they do have a Nidus to the south, so Rich should be able to just teleport over there. In fact, he's already come down. So even though they had a bad spawn with the global potential they have, they're here very quickly. This is a Raven's best chance of the fight. They're going to be dead even at 16, both of them at the exact same time here, just about. This is their best opportunity to win a fight, to get this tribute, to turn this game around. If they lose it, they're going to lose the keep, potentially the game with the death timers at this stage. Such an important moment right now for Raven.
This time the CCs will be less effective because the Wailing Arrow is still on cooldown. And Leaning's away, so Black knowing that they're going in, they're doing a lot of damage. There's a zoning tool. Hinterland misses totally there.
Yeah, Sanctification denies the self-destruct damage coming out. Here's that Divine Storm. The Dragon Blade is used though. Hamlin and everybody's getting blown up. Popped out of the mech and dead instantly. Darvish gets one counter kill here with the heals, but he's going to find himself on his way back to the Nexus real quick here in the Hall of Storms if he doesn't get out. That's going to be the second tribute that puts them on Curse Point, but I don't know if that really matters. They might just be able to waltz down and attack the core. Rich will be able to kill this keep immediately. One Baneling at a time, I suppose. And that is going to be the end of that. Looks like they want to play it safer. They have top pressure. They're going to steal the Bruiser camp with the bribe and then go for the mid keep, it looks like. Well, maybe they're just going to back off completely, not being too aggressive here because they know they have basically every lead in the game and they're going to have the curse with the next tribute, so no reason to overextend.
And I think the boss timing is coming up pretty soon also. They should have it around the same time. I think they're timing it right now to have the boss and the curse all together. They're starting the boss instantly and seems like they're giving up on the curse though.
That's fine because they don't need it, you know? And because they don't have massive tools to win team fights because of some of the weird choices they made in the draft, like they don't have Maw, they don't have Gust. I like that they take the best boss they can. I identify this is going to be the best opportunity to take a boss while they don't have tools like the Gust when they're up against Wailing Arrow and Divine Storm. Get this boss or free it pushes directly towards the core. Worst case scenario, you get the next tribute anyways. Or red side boss when Ravens respawn. So many options for MVP Black right now. Raven needs to consistently win every single team fight to come back. This is going to be a start if they can make it happen. NMX already so low. Does not have self-destruct available. He's going to lose that mech immediately. Hinterland Blast hits Diong. Not going to hit NMX though.
But this boss is already on the core. Seems like they want to go in and finish this game. Reset is looking for the perfect chance to go in. There's a storm, but not going to get killed. Luther already falls behind. There's a Sanctification. They're focusing on the core. Every man on the Sanctification. There's the holy ground, and they're just focusing on the core. They don't care about the members of Raven. They're focusing it down.
Sake looks like he will survive here as the core goes down. Bit of a messier one for MVP Black, but they still take it in dominant fashion. There were certainly some overextensions. There were certainly some odd talent choices there. We saw the Zagara, the split push there. But the reason why Black dominated so hard was because they won the early game. They had those catches on failed rotations. The one we saw from Hamlin, the one we saw from Darvish, got them massively ahead in levels. They won the first curse. And sure, some of the late game team fights were a little bit sloppy, but the Sylvanas pick gained 0 value, and the Zagara pick got a lot. It was up there with Malfurion, and we were seeing basically them win 3v4 fights in the bot lane while it was 2v1 against D.Va solo. And it's Zagara against D.Va with Malfurion there, and he's got Shandos, so he's basically his innervate's on a much lower cooldown. He's just constantly giving mana back to Zagara. And then once it's post 10, Zagara doesn't need that buddy anymore. She's got Nidus Worm, and she's just going wherever she needs to be.
Yeah, the Hinterland Blast didn't do too much. Very little value coming out from Falstad.
Honestly, like almost none. But I mean, it was cool to see it, I guess.
Yeah, it did some damage during the team fight and helped Genji get the kills, but seems like we're going to take a short break right here before game number 3. When we come back, maybe the end of the series. Maybe we'll have game 4 coming up and Raven comes back. See you guys soon.